So today we're going to have a look and see how we can tackle Venn diagram questions, and I have uploaded a file with some practice questions for you too. So we'll look at the first type of Venn diagram question where you haven't been given a Venn diagram as such, but the wording in the question tells you that you need to use a Venn diagram to solve it. So for example, if you have a question that has words like so many people did this and so many people did that, some did both or some did neither, that kind of language in a word problem will tell you that you can use a Venn diagram to solve it. So I'm going to show you the way that I teach to sort of solve these, the method I find works best. So if we have a look at the question first of all, so we have a group of 100 people, so we're going to highlight the key information first of all. We're asked if they visited Alton Towers or Thorpe Park. 61 people said they visited Alton Towers, and 58 people said they visited Thorpe Park, and 14 people said they had not visited either. Okay, so there's our information from the word problem there. Before I even come down to answer questions A, B, and C, I'm going to collate this information. So I recommend you do it this way. So I set this out like this. So I will say total. So the total number of people is 100. The number that went to Alton Towers, so Alton Towers was 61. The number that went to Thorpe Park was 58. And the number that went to neither was 14. So I've plotted my information out there, just in a very simple, straightforward table kind of format there. I'm now going to come and draw my Venn diagram, and this only needs to be a rough drawing, okay, because it's for you to use, and remember your working space is your own to use. And then if I put a circle in here, I haven't done a very good job of this one, let me just move that, so move that up here, and if I do another circle that's the same size, let's see if we can get that to overlap. So let's go here, and if I start here, whoops, let's draw another circle there, and ideally I want those to overlap. So let's see if I can move those. They may not work. Oh, they have. Perfect. Lovely. So then I'm going to label these here. So this is my Alton Towers circle over here, and this is my Thorpe Park circle over here. So the easiest piece of information to put in is the neither for 14. So that can go in straight in here, and I plotted those there. I'm going to change my pen colour now. So this 14 here, because neither of them went to Alton Towers and Thorpe Park, I'm going to reduce the total down by the 14, which will leave me with a total of 86 people who did go to Alton Towers or Thorpe Park. Now currently, according to the numbers I have here, there are currently 119 people going to Alton Towers and Thorpe Park. Well, that's not possible because I've only got 86 up here. So if I find the difference between 86 and 119, so 119, take away 86, so 9 take 6 is 3, 11 take 8 is 3, so 33. This 33 must be the number of people who had visited both. Okay, so that would go in the middle between those two there. And I now need to reduce down my Alton Towers total and my Thorpe Park total by that 33 so that I don't count them twice. So Alton Towers, 61 take away 33 will be 28. So 28 people just went to Alton Towers, and 58 take away 33 will be 25. So 25 people just went to Thorpe Park. And if I add all these together, I should come back, if I add these four numbers together, I should come back to 100. So 28 add 33 would be 61. Add 25 would be 86, add the 14 is 100. So I know I've shared them all out where they need to be. Now that I have this information, answering the questions should be relatively straightforward. So how many people had visited both theme parks? Well, I can get that answer here from where my circles overlap. So the answer to that one would be 33. How many people visited only Thorpe Park? So I come to the Thorpe Park circle, and this is my information for that question there, so 25. And the next question asks me what fraction of people did not visit Alton Towers. So for that, I would cover up or get rid of my Alton Towers circle completely. So anything in the Alton Towers circle has gone, which only leaves me with the 24 and the 14. So that would be 39 out of the total number of people asked, which was 100. And it's asked me to simplify if possible. And in this instance, simplification isn't possible because 39 out of 100, 39 and 100 don't share a common factor. So that's how I would go about answering these word problems, where it's not necessarily obvious to start with that it's a Venn diagram, but once you recognize that language, plot the information out like I've shown you here, and actually answering the questions is quite straightforward. So the time spent here is worthwhile because it improves the accuracy of your answers here. So the next one we're going to look at is when the Venn diagrams are actually given to you. So let's have a look at the next page here. So this example here, we have a Venn diagram that has 3 circles, and this is a past paper question. Okay, so this one has actually appeared in the CSSE paper before. So the question concerns placing the whole numbers from 1 to 9 individually into the correct position on the following Venn set diagram. So we have 3 circles, one for multiples of 2, one for multiples of 3, one for prime numbers. So we've got to, the key bit here is we've got to place the numbers 1 to 9. Now I would do this before going down to answer the questions. I would sort those numbers in accordingly. So number 1 is not a multiple of 2, it's not a multiple of 3, and remember it is not a prime number. So number 1 would have to sit outside of the circles. Number 2 is a multiple of 2, it's also a prime number, so number 2 would go in this section here. Number 3 is a multiple of 3, also a prime number, so it would have to sit in this overlap here. Number 4 is just a multiple of 2, so it will sit there. Number 5 is a prime number, so it needs to come down here. Number 6 is both a multiple of 2 and a multiple of 3 because it's in the 2 and 3 times table, so number 6 is going to sit in here. Number 7 is prime. Number 8 is just a multiple of 2, and number 9 is just a multiple of 3. So I've filled in all my information in the Venn diagram. Now I need to come down and have a look at the questions. So in question A, they're asking how many of the whole numbers are multiples of 2? Well, the answer, I would have a look here in my multiple of 2 section, and I have 4 numbers sitting in there. So the answer to that one would be 4. The next question asks me to list the whole numbers from 1 to 9 that are multiples of 3. So my answer here would be all of the numbers that fall in the multiple of 3 circles. So that would be 3, 6, and 9. The next question asks which of the whole numbers will appear in the label region X, the region labelled X on the diagram. So I come up here, X is here. Well, the only number in there is 6. So that's my answer to C. Question D, which 2 prime numbers between 1 and 9 will appear in the region labelled Y? Well, here we have our 2 prime numbers, which are 5 and 7. And the last question, E, which is the only whole number from 1 to 9 that must appear on the diagram in region Z? Well, I have my number 1 here, so that is the one that goes there. So I will write that in here, and then I have answered the question. So again, the time spent completing the Venn diagram made answering these 5 questions nice and straightforward, and they're 5 marks at the end of the day, so each one of these questions is worth 1 mark, so the time spent up here is invaluable. You can do it without, but I wouldn't recommend it. I hope you enjoy the practice questions. Thank you very much.